Thank you all very much for joining this session. All right. I had a chance to meet some of you before getting onto the stage. So I see that it's primarily an IT crowd. Is that right? Because I didn't expect these many IT folks to join us in Zoholics. I'm absolutely surprised, and thank you so much for showing up. And well, hopefully we'll all learn from each other a lot more. Yeah, perfect. I'm so glad that we're here. All of us are here to learn. Three key takeaways. I have to change all of my script, but I'll do that the best I can. So what I'm essentially trying to do is we are at Zoolix where we are essentially there in a place where we're talking a lot about business applications and sort of trying tying that to the IT side of things. What we've seen through our conversations from our customers is that one major thing that IT is sort of missing is the connect between IT and the business, right? How do you say for example having to manage your devices? How is that going to add up to your business being secure? That line is what we're trying to fill. That's the gap that we're trying to fill, and that's how I'm going to flip my narrative too, right? I was talking about unorthodox introduction to IT. The second one is how IT can be a reliable partner for business. Again, IT doesn't talk business as much as it should because today, given the businesses are all on digital, everything is digital first, and IT is sort of central to every business. But if I may say that, we don't get the credit that we deserve. Unfortunate, but we don't, right? Um, it's also part of us that all of us are a little shy. We don't go out there and say, oh, this is how I help you drive the business outcomes. And that's what we're trying to sort of link in this presentation. And the last one is how Zoho and Manage Engine can work together. I'm hoping some of you are aware of some of the products that we have in Manage Engine, and we'll try to see how we can tie that up to some of the business outcomes out there. So the story was essentially when you're looking at something that's already working, something absolutely seamless, we don't take notice at all. What we notice is, well, something bad happens, something that doesn't work. That's what grabs our attention. And what we don't credit ourselves with it is if the business is running and we don't have tickets in our email or in our mailbox, essentially means business is doing great. Unfortunately, we don't get the credit for uh, zero tickets, right? That's how it's been, but it's a good thing. It's in a way we have to sort of recognize that. That's and see how we can tackle that. And that's why I'm saying it's as magic is because a lot of what we do completely goes unnoticed, but it's actually the reason why the businesses are running today. Why you can sit here in a room and the business is happy doing whatever it's doing, right? This is where we're trying to link what we've been doing in IT to business. When we are talking the business lingo of saying people first experiences, I'm sure some of your colleagues from the HR world are probably talking about building people first experiences. That means putting together employee management, clear roles and benefits, performance management, all of that. But it's not just about that. It's also about what we are doing in IT. Imagine this, the employee getting onboarded on day one. A lot of what gets talked about is, well, they're going to the reception, sitting in an orientation program, taking them to their desk, having a lovely employee kit on their desk ready to work. That's just one part of their experience. What we do at IT, it starts when they open up the laptop. They open up the device when they probably fire up the email app, and imagine they see a personalized email from CEO. That's definitely an automation you and I know. But for someone who is joining the company for the first time, seeing a note from a CEO, that's the people first experiences that we end up building. And not just that, the admin friction, the experience of the first couple of weeks that we spent in a new company, what essentially happens is we don't know. Everything that we see out there is new. New colleagues, new employee services, new HR, new team, all of that. Um, the thing is, what happens is for us to go and ask our colleagues every time we have a doubt about what about cab services, what about the benefits, will I get insurance, um, um, should I change my address, update my address, anything of that sort. Well, imagine if that happens in employee self-service portal. And that's where we all should sort of come together to say that we're sort of delivering a digital workplace experience. And that's how we tie what we do at IT to the business side, which is the HR leaders. So this is one of the core aspects. The other one we're talking about, I'm 100% sure, and a lot of you probably would not have connected the dots about this so far. When we talk about consistent brand experience, a lot of what we talk about essentially is, well, branding on websites. I'm sure some of you mentioned, right? You got to know about Zoho from a mail. It was a marketing campaign that was sent out. And from that marketing campaign, landed on a website, purchased the ticket, probably brought in some of your colleagues, figured out what do we do about the hotel reservations, all of that. And well, you came here, you see a lot of Zoho branding out there. In a lot of ways, again, when we say brand experience, we don't naturally tie it to what we do at IT, right? And here's a chance for you to think about how you also matter, how you also contribute to how sales and marketing does, what sales and marketing does in your organization, which is the consistent experience across digital touch points, across devices and geographies. I'm sure some of you here are managing applications for your company, where you're ensuring that application is accessible not just within the office, not just within the state, but also across the international waters, across different continents. And what we are essentially talking about here is where, say, for example, you're looking for a shoe, you got to know about a new shoe or new sale happening in Nike. You go down, look at the website, see, add a few things on your cart. Well, we've all done the shopping therapy in our office just to get out of the lot of madness that we have. But once we do that, get into a lot of meetings and then come back to it 2 days later, you're on your mobile phone trying to see what's that you had added to the cart before. Imagine, is the same customer accessing the same application, having the same brand across two different devices, across two different occasions, right? This is also brand experience, which what all of you are helping your companies build. And this is one of the ways that you can certainly take back to your team to explain how is that you're contributing to the business outcomes, to driving business outcomes. And of course, the last one we were talking about is marketing is so gaga over a particular sale that's they promoted that sale all across the country. And well, they've planned marketing and sales activities amazingly well. But if they didn't send an IT saying that, look, we are running a campaign, we might expect more than 10,000 customers coming to the website, see if you can, your IT stack is ready for it. Well, 10,000 first customer comes in, the website is going to conk, right? So IT is essentially a very good part of, is an important part of building that brand experience. And that's something that we should also start voicing out to our business counterparts. The last one we're talking about is creating an adaptive and resilient organization. Again, businesses today are in such a dynamic environment that literally a startup grows out of like 1 or 2 weeks of work, right? Like that's how much the businesses and the competition is changing. As a response, of course, we all come together as employees, create self-organizing teams, and do the project management, release whatever that's needed. That's the adaptive part, but it's not just about that. It's also about securing your identities at every level, because the same competitor who is a competitor to you is an opportunity for your employee to work at, right? It's that simple. And what they essentially can do is take everything that you have in your organization and sort of give it off to the competition. That's where we're talking about securing identities access at every level, and of course the scaling the infrastructure for growing business needs. And compliance today is a very important aspect of any business. and no business function can ignore that, especially if they are working from different states. Even within United States, different states have different compliances that we have to comply to, and each of them have the clauses that's very, very hard to understand. What we've done at Manage Engine essentially is break that down into different compliances. Some of the it'll make you easy for you to get those reports ready for your compliance, so you know where, get the visibility of where what is at, right? So that's how IT is helping P&O leaders. That's IT for you. In a lot of sense, this is a pitch for management, and just to give you a perspective of what are all the things that we are doing at a management. We help you with the devices, identity, data, infrastructure, and applications. The next slide is a lot more meaningful for you, which is across each one of these aspects, the 5 core aspects that we operate at, we help you manage them. When we talk about device, we help you manage the device life cycle. Applications, we help you monitor the applications, make sure it's secure, nobody's tampering with it. And again, if the application is used from different parts of the world, how do you experience that application? Those are some of the things we are working on. When it comes to security, we have a few offerings around data loss prevention. Of course, when it comes to endpoints and identities, we have a very strong security suite also to help you around. And of course, the automation is something that happens across all of these as well. We talked a lot about AI. All of those AI is sort of homegrown, that is, it's also being shared across Zoho and Manage Engine. So a few use cases that you saw there, for example, Agent Studio is also sort of coming into Manage Engine. We also have the Zia Search, again, that's coming across different products of Manage Engine. Bringing the intelligence layer, the analytics layer, and the collaboration layer, so that you have an enriched experience of Manage Engine. The last but not least is, we understand that, yeah, we try to do a lot of things. We cannot claim we are doing all of it. We have to be part of an ecosystem in your organization. That's where we're talking about integration and marketplace, and where the workflow orchestration happens not just between the IT departments, but also happening with the business departments. Simple example is the employee onboarding, switching across different functions. And the low-code, no-code we're talking about is where be able to deliver these as solutions, as applications to your organizations. A simple employee center as an application which has hooks to your HR applications, to IT applications, to the self-service portal that we're talking about. And that essentially is Enterprise IT Management Division of Zoho Corp. If you actually look at it, again, going back to what I started this discussion with, is a lot of this sort of ties strongly to the business. When we say business, we're talking about 3 simple things, and that's how we've sort of organized the sessions here, which is the workforce. We're talking today about the employees, but I'm sure like 3 or 4 years down the line, we're going to talk about digital employees as well. How do you manage them? How do you secure them? How do you, I'm not saying monitor them, but yeah, you understand. And the way we're sort of looking at this is the last part of the agenda we were talking about is, how do we tie Zoho and Manage Engine together? This is to drive this end-to-end success. So far, a lot of what we've seen through is, how do we tie IT and the business side of things? Now we're just going to sort of give you an example of how Zoho and Management comes in, where Zoho is the business applications partner for you, and IT is IT management partner. When you talk about business application partner, we talked about the 3 pillars. We'll keep going back to that. We talk about empowered workforce for increased productivity, where we're talking about employee Zoho people, if you know Zoho payroll, Zoho recruit, all of that coming in together to help you to empower your workforce. And then we have the management inside, which is going to help you with the digital workplace, digital enablement, give you the employee self-service portal, and most of all, very important, because human is the weakest chain in the link. I'm sure if any of you are from security, you would know This is how it works. Just to give you an example of what we mean by digital enablement is to equip employees with the right apps, the right platforms, and the right devices. Imagine giving a laptop to a field service agent. Well, we can't do that, can we? So, having that sense of how the business works and what is needed for the business is the digital enablement which the IT teams could provide. And employee self service, if some of you, I hope, are using Service Desk Plus, where we're talking about bringing all the services that are needed for the employees to one place where it becomes searchable, queryable, which is the ASIA that you saw earlier today. That's something that we are bringing into Service Desk Plus as well. So that's one of the aspects that IT could help with. The last one is the identity first security. Um, Having that security layer at every level of access, that's what we're talking about, right? From getting into the device using MFA, are you providing the right access to the right person at the right time? The just in time access that we all are familiar with. And that's the identity first experience, security experience, which is going to help your workforce. That essentially what it doesn't mean is, well, I'm not going to give any applications to anybody. If you want, you come and ask me. No, that's not how IT should work, but it should empower the workforce. They provide them, just give me a reason for using the application. So that's pretty much it. The next aspect we're talking about is the second pillar, which is the workplace. We're talking about anywhere workplace. And I'm sure some of you are also working despite being part of an event, and that is possible because we have set up things on cloud, right, and have kept things in a secure manner. When we say workplace productivity, a lot of business folks essentially talk about having the productivity suite or the project management suite and the employee engagement suite that we have, which is the Zoho side of things, which is the workplace apps. You could probably also have Zoho people also in there, and project management and apps that we have. On the other side, we have Manage Engine. We'll go through each of these. We're talking about workplace continuum, where we're talking about work flowing seamlessly across devices, across laptops, phones, browsers, kiosks, across places, right? How do you ensure the work continues? You shouldn't be asking for an VPN when you're somewhere else. There is a better way to do VPN than to connect to a tunnel. The next aspect is seamless connectivity, where we're ensuring reliable access to applications and data across networks and locations. Like I was telling you, you're supplying an application to your customer, and that should work exactly the same way it works at your work, at your home. It doesn't matter if they are connected from Japan, Europe, or South America, it has to work seamlessly across. But we all know it doesn't happen. Well, we as IT, it's our task to figure out how to do that, and that's where we're going to talk a lot about securing, enabling, and the second session that we have at 3:15. That's what we're going to discuss about. The last one is the context-aware security. In the first earlier point, we discussed about identity first security, where as an employee, I should be treated as the central, and a lot of the access that I require, I need to be provided. Here, we are changing a little bit because a workplace is not constant. We're saying be context aware of where you are asking from, at what time are you asking from, and then provide the access based on that. Again, we will definitely get into a lot more depth in those sessions. The last one is the adaptive workloads. We again, brand experience, something that we rarely talk about in IT, but it does connect to how we drive our businesses, which is marketing and sales automation and customer service management. Zoho Desk, Zoho CRM, yeah, Marketing Plus. Some of those applications we constantly talk about when we're talking about brand experience. But what we don't talk about, but also aids, is what management provides, which is how do you uh, detect disruptions before it even occurs, as they impact users across websites, application, and networks. And the next one is the real-time visibility. Today, when it comes to monitoring the websites, all today we have is how many people are visiting the website, the page views, and all of that. But What we also provide is a way to have a real user monitoring. So we have a few CDNs across different countries. So you can actually see how different applications are, how the experience is for different people looking at it from different locations. This is something that we'll discuss in the last session, which is at 4:15. The last one is ensuring brand integrity. Again, we rarely connect what we have in IT to the brand integrity. Um, Something as simple as the SSL certificate not working when, say, marketing is doing one of its biggest campaign, that's going to impact the brand of the company. We are doing the job, except we're not talking about it. Domain expirations, again, that's a big aspect of it. Again, other few network threats, DDoS and all of that. Some of those things we will talk about in the last session. And this is pretty much the summary of what we had to say. Uh, the idea really is, how do you connect IT to business? And I think as IT, we all have to start speaking the business language for so that we are able to convince our business audience, because you know who is holding the cash in our company, the CEO, not the CIO or CTO. So how do we talk about this to them? So these are some of the ways we can talk about the value we provide for the business. Um, so far, a lot of what I've been talking about is about tools and processes. I've been saying, look, management does this, Zoho does this, great. But honestly, it's about all of you guys. It's about people behind those tools and processes. I'm not sure how many of you here are friends of IT here, but I put up this thing. Consider this as my thank you note for all of you. um, so I've been around in I've been an employee too. I've not on the IT management. I know I've called the IT guy when I'm presenting. A blue screen happens, and well, to you guys, the sysadmin who's cooler than the server room. It's an e-card, but well dedicated to you all. The next one is, oh God. Oh, this I'm sure some of you might have definitely seen in your organization. So tempted by the $25 Amazon gift card. Click there. It goes, well, there's no website. Website is not loading, and something else ended up in my text machine. So thank you for all of you for patching, um, going through the rough patches for us. And the last one is, we're talking about the biggest campaign, and well, somebody's the superhero holding the shield for the business. So again, thank you so much for doing that. Well, I know it's better be a nice thank you card. There's no nice thank you card, but consider this as one such. You are definitely the magicians of your company. If you've not realized that so far through this session, and this is the way for me to let you know. I've gone through my session, and this is a very high level introduction. I understand I am sitting among a lot of IT practitioners here. We had planned a very different presentation for this today, and thank you so much.